inspiration. It's where the guy gets old and out of shape.
The fact that you guys are
And
meeting.
I remember.
Meeting notes and adopt the agenda. If you'd all stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item on the agenda is comments from the audience regarding items for future consideration. Does anybody have anything they'd like to step up to the microphone and state their name and address and tell us what it is? Okay, moving to the consent agenda. We have 4A, approval of staff retirement, 4B, approval of staff resignation, 4C, approval of early graduation request, 4D, approval of February vouchers and vouchers payable, and 4E, approval of the minutes from January 27th, February 10th, school board minutes, and the February 3rd special board meeting minutes. Would anybody like to pull anything from the consent agenda?
I'll pull D.
D, okay. Anybody else? Okay, could I have a motion for approval of 4A, B, C, and E?
So moved.
I have a second.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Eileen, 4D, approval of February vouchers and vouchers payable.
I just wanted to mention, I had sent an email out to Doug to ask if maybe there could be a little bit more explanation, sometimes tying in what some of these items are about. So for example, if it's a specific conference somebody's attending, if it could just reference that it's a conference, then I would feel better just rather than blindly approving something that said Kalahari flight. Just to tie it to the conference that it belongs with. There are some limitations in what he can have typed in, but maybe just something that would be a little bit more.
We can get more creative.
Yeah, sorry. Just because, if I have to put my name on it, I'd like to know what ties back
Does the
to.
system allow you to do that, Doug?
Yes, for example, we had one where it listed a flight to a city. We can change that and have it put in the name of the conference that somebody's going to or why they're going there.
Okay, any other comments on 4D? If not, I'll need a motion.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor of 4D, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Item 5A, the PBIS middle school status report.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I just have a very brief update for you. We were here about a year ago and telling you about our kickoff with PBIS, and probably HCE told you very similar things that we've been doing at the Tier 1 universal level. So I wanted to kind of revisit that and let you know how we ended up, because we were really pleased with our, it's really dark, with our end of the year results last year. So last year we implemented Tier 1, which is the universal supports. It's for all kids. And under our three sort of umbrella rules to be respectful, responsible, and safe, we identified the expectations for the students. If you remember, we had them go through like a rotation throughout their first day of school where they learned about the expectations in different areas of building. How you behave in the hallway may be different than how you behave on a bus. So we went through all of those expectations. And throughout the year, we had regular PBIS lessons based on our data. If we felt like there were issues in the hallway, we would have a cool tool lesson about hallway behavior. Or sometimes we took character traits and we had the teachers we do our PBIS lessons on early release days, the last 20 minutes, or 20-minute block of the day, and everyone teaches the same thing. The team develops the lesson, so we may have a character trait, honesty or kindness, and the teachers would engage the students in conversations around that, and they really enjoyed it, the kids did, and the teachers, because they were able to really make some connections there. Our data, we're really pleased with. These are the major infractions, the things that generally end up in the office, always end up in the office. And I just took 2 years to compare. The purple was last year, and the blue was the year prior. So we did see some, probably the biggest ones, the insubordination, the physical aggression, and harassment. Those are the ones we probably see pop up the most at the middle school. Sometimes we have fights, but luckily not often. So we did see some nice reductions in those behaviors, and we are lucky that we have great kids, and so things like controlled substances and weapons and theft rarely occur, but we do have a few kids sometimes make bad choices, and we try and help them learn from those. But the ones that we were really pleased to see, the aggression, maybe pushing somebody around or tripping them, that sort of thing, really de-escalated, and the insubordination, the kids just flat out refusing to do what they're asked to do, significantly went down, as well as harassment, and fighting went down a little bit, but if we have 1 or 2 fights a year, it's probably pretty high. So as a result of this, we also saw our suspensions reduce quite a bit. And this, I gave you a couple years data. In school, out of school suspensions are the green and the pink. We saw some nice reductions in there. And then our repeat offenders. If you look at like 10, 11, and 9, 10, we had a few more repeat offenders. But last year we had just a couple of repeat offenders, 1 or 2 kids that need a little bit more help in making better choices. So very, very pleased with our data with suspensions. At the end of the year last year, we did a climate survey, and 483 of our students participated. I think we ended the year around 515, so great majority of the students participated. We asked a lot of different questions, but these are the ones that really kind of went with PBIS. 97% of the students said they understand the expectations of their behavior in school, which is what we're doing with PBIS. 94% indicated they felt safe at school, both emotionally and physically. 85% said they felt a sense of belonging, part of the middle school community, and 84% felt that they were respected by the adults at middle school. So very pleased with those results. And as a result of our hard work last year, most of you may already know this, but we were recognized as a school of merit by Wisconsin PBIS Network. How you become recognized is they look through your data, your meeting minutes, agendas. You have to write some narratives on things you did and how you solved these problems, and other implementation hiccups we saw. So we were really, really proud to receive that award, and we're hoping to continue down that road this year and become a school of distinction, so stay tuned. So this year, we're continuing with our Tier 1. If you think of that pyramid with RTI, that bottom support is universal. We kicked off our year the same way this year with our rotations where all the kids went to the stations. We continue our cool tool lessons, and I'm going to show you one in a minute. But our biggest challenge this year is to focus on sustaining that implementation. We've had a number of new staff members, so we've had to train them, get them on board. We've had a lot of initiatives this year with the one-to-one and lots of work on Common Core. So, keeping that momentum has been our biggest challenge this year, and I think we're there. The one-to-one gave us some new behaviors that we've had to kind of step back and look at. You know, it's not talking in class, it might be texting in class, so that's kind of put a little challenge in it for us as well. One of the cool tools that I'm going to show you, we were looking for ways to keep the 8th graders engaged, because, you know, it's mid-year, they're feeling like, you know, they don't really want to be part of this anymore. So we had the 8th grade students working teams and developed some cool tool videos to use at our mid-year review. Mid-year, we had a review of all of our expectations. We had a lot of new kids. I think we've picked up 14 kids since the beginning of the year, so we really felt like, you know, we need to do it anyways, but these kids haven't been exposed to it. So the 8th grade students in their language arts class developed these videos about all the different areas in the building and what the expectations are. So the one I'm going to show you, a group of girls did about the cafeteria. And it was nice, short and sweet. Some of them were kind of long.
Oh, excuse me, Courtney, before you leave, could you just help clean up a little bit because your classmates left the cafeteria rather messy? Oh, thank you so much. You're a star student. I'll have to get you a blue star. Thank you. Excuse me, Courtney, could you just help clean up a little bit because your classmates left the cafeteria rather messy? Well, it's not my hair.
Make up your mind, sweet baby. Right here, right now is all we got. A little party that'll kill nobody. So we gon' dance until we drop.
Danielle, can you come to our table if you want? We have room. Hi, Danielle.
Austin, them keep doing your thing. Let the boys keep slipping, man. I'm not in the gymnastics, but I'm in the flipping things. I tell these women that it's all about the team, Jordan and Pippen, man. Some people wanna join the team, now tell me a little bit, man. When I saw her walking down the street.
So that's an example of one of the videos. They had a contest and chose the winners, so kids really enjoyed that. It was a neat way to reintroduce the expectations without feeling like we were lecturing them. So this year, on top of Tier 1, we began Tier 2, which is the targeted supports. It's that 15 to 20% of students that may not be successful in those universal areas. So what we've been doing, I have a team of teachers who have been attending some training through the PBIS Wisconsin, and they've kind of are taking us step by step through the process. And recently, we've been doing a check-in, check-out system with some of our at-risk students, and it could be academically at risk or behaviorally at risk. So these students will check in with a teacher at the beginning of the day, sort of, you know, how was your night? Did you get all your homework done? You know, what's your plan for today? How are you going to be successful? And then checking out, do you have all your homework? How did the day go? Sometimes it's just an adult making positive contact with those kids that helps them be successful. Last year we piloted this when we really weren't supposed to, but we did. And we saw really great results with the kids that, some of these kids just, for whatever reason, don't get that reinforcement at home. Somebody checking in on them, making sure they're getting their work done, answering questions, that sort of thing. So we're doing that. The next piece will be looking further down the road for the kids who aren't successful at that tier 2, how do we help them be more successful? And that'll become more intensive. But like tier 1, you can't go to tier 2, tier 3, tier 2 to tier 3 without having a level of fidelity. So this year our focus will be those tier 2 kids, and how do we start helping those kids and gaining that fidelity. And once we have that fidelity, the state will let us move on to the next level. So we're very pleased with it. It's been a positive thing for the middle school. That is it.
I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Lori Comas when she was here last week or last meeting, and that was what's the biggest change outside of the repeat offenders and some of the data? What's the biggest change that you've noticed in the last year and a half?
You know what? I think definitely the traffic in the office has decreased. Mr. Borden isn't seeing oodles and oodles of kids. He's busy, but he's not. Our suspension rate has gone down. Kids seem to be kinder. They know what the expectations are. It's really, on a number of occasions, we've had people compliment how polite our students are, visitors to the school. Stephanie shared an example last year. She stopped at school as a mom to pick up her daughter and wasn't sure where she was, and students said, "Oh, I'll show you. I can take you there." We had a grandparent who's a retired principal from Milwaukee visit last week to see the school. They're hoping to come in on open enrollment, and she said, "I walked in and right off the bat, the vibe here is just positive." So I really think PBIS, it has a lot to do with it. We're all on the same page. We have the same expectations for the kids, of ourselves, and it's a nicer place to be.
And I heard the same reinforcement from a junior achievement volunteer that had come in that has done the junior achievement program in elementary schools and middle schools across the Milwaukee area. And his comment was the same, that the kids were great, walked in the building, and the building just felt different than other buildings that he had been in over the years. So that was another outside perspective. So it seems like it's really coming together, and it's good.
And I think tier 2 will help us really start seeing the impact on academics. Tier 1, we did see nice growth with our math scores. Could we attribute it to PBIS? Not really sure, but I think for some of these at-risk kids, some of these tier 2 and eventually tier 3 interventions will really start to reap the benefits academically for those children as well. We'll start to see them experience a little more success.
And what is tier 3 going to look like?
Tier 3 is that intensive focus for the kids. It's probably 5% of the population that they can't do it here. So we have to kind of encircle them a little bit tighter and put even more intervention in place for them.
Okay, well, hopefully we'll see a school of distinction next year.
I hope so.
That'd be kind of neat.
Teachers have worked really hard.
So tier 1 will always be implemented.
Yes.
And then like tier 2 is a specific area of interest.
Right. It focuses on a specific group of kids. Now that 15 to 20%, that could be at any point during the year. It could be 10 kids now and maybe 15 kids later. But what it does is it could be social skills. Maybe we have a group of kids that really are struggling with some social aspect of their day. So it may be, the counselors working with them and maybe doing some social skill training, talking about, what's the appropriate way for this and how would you handle this. Or it could be specific skills. If we have students that are really at risk academically, we may pull groups of small groups of kids to really work with them on the academic portion. So it can be both academic and behavioral.
Any other questions or comments for Lynn? Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, next item is 6A, Finance Committee minutes. TJ, did you have something you were going to comment on, or Doug? Anyone?
No, the only thing I'm going to say is, this is what we discussed last time. We have another finance facilities meeting coming up next week. Several board members have given me some ideas they would like to see. If you want any more, please forward them my way. And this was just more of an informational. Thank you, Stephanie, for taking the notes.
You're welcome.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is comments from the school board regarding items for future consideration. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add to the list?
I do. The board asked the block party to come up with a mission statement, and we have. It'll be ready sometime later this week. So if you want to put it on there on the agenda at any time, we have a mission statement and also how we go about achieving our mission statement. So.
Okay. Thank you very much. I will make sure that gets added, Quinn. Anybody have anything else?
I'm not sure if that's a separate discussion, if that was supposed to be part of Booster Club.
No,
District
that's a
Health
different-
Fund.
different-
Those are different issues, okay.
Entirely.
I do. I still
Go ahead.
I wondered about, while I think Eileen's intention is good on looking at the budget, I don't agree. I wonder if we couldn't have a discussion about the role of a board member in directing staff, because I'm not sure. I think that we all should get a say in something like that, rather than an individual board member being able to call up a district administrator and say, can we do this different? I just felt uncomfortable about that, and I don't want to drop on any idea that a board member might have to make us better, so I wondered if we shouldn't talk about that. And it could be part of our spring role of the board stuff, but I didn't want to let that go, because I think it's so important that we work together as a board.
So to phrase this discussion around board member directives to
staff.
To staff or
Right.
administration.
Or role of the board. It could, like I said, we usually do a spring retreat, or not retreat, it's spring. We should talk about that. Yeah,
Well, the venue in which, you want to do it is up to you, but,
put it on the list. Okay.
okay. Anybody have anything else?
I think we should put legislative updates on, I won't be at I won't be at the next meeting. So maybe the.
So you don't want it on the next?
No, you,
Because you're not going to be here?
No, I can't give it, though. So unless somebody else wants to give it, I wouldn't be here on the 10th. But I think we should have legislative updates as part of the agenda, future agenda items.
All right. Anybody have anything else? Hearing none, I'll take any board member announcements that haven't already been discussed, like the great play that's coming up and the senior dinner and everything that's been mentioned before. Anybody have anything else? Okay, if not, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Still did not break Nancy's record.
No
so
way.
That was wonderful. I guess.
Well, no,
Later we are.
if the legislature has its way, what happens?
Next week?